Hey, I didn't see you come in. How you doing out there? Welcome to the shop. So we're finally up to the assembly video. This is the video that took the longest to make. It is also the longest running video. Now I realize some of you aren't doing every single part that I did, so I'm not gonna make you watch every single part that I did. Maybe you're not doing the cyclotron. Maybe you're just doing the HGA or just doing the booster core, something like that. That's fine. I went ahead and I divided this video up into chapters. So this is gonna be kind of an index so you can see exactly where to go. Let's say you're just changing out your Clippard and you want to change the base and add those brown wires. Watch wherever it is so you can see exactly how I did it. Now, if you are doing the HGA and keeping the Spirit motherboard, I'd ask that you watch the motherboard segment as well, because you have to alter the motherboard in order to fit the HGA corner. Now, I did get bit by the Alice frame fairy, so I went ahead and I ordered an Alice frame, and then I also ordered a completely different motherboard from Charlesworth Dynamics, so that's going to be a different video where I explain how to install that. And as far as the electronics and the cyclotron go, I'm still not quite finished. I'm actually kind of at like Mark III at the moment. I just ordered a new kit from Fruto Technologies, so there's going to be another video coming where I explain how to add that. So without further ado, let's get into the assembly video. Start with the injectors. So I actually just discovered that this wire is like about to break off, which actually in this one particular case works out fine. If this was any other wire on any other pack, this would be a problem, but just literally because it's this particular one, it's not an issue. I was gonna save this for the weathering video, but I guess it's not weathering if it's actually required. That worked out well. So next I'm doing the HGA. There's actually 3 different versions of the HGA. I'm gonna call this one HGA 1. This is on Spangler pack and on the Phoebe pack, which are canonically the same pack. I'm not 1000% sure, so don't get mad, but leave a comment if you know the actual answer. Is it the same pack? Did Phoebe use the same pack as her grandfather? I think. But anyway, so you see how the holes are diagonal. Those 2 packs use this, HGA 1. I made another one where they are next to each other. I'm going to call that HGA 2. That's for the other Ray, Winston, and Peter. I should know that. And whatever pack you're making, whatever, it's totally up to you. That's HGA 2. And then if you wanted to use your own Legree, if you wanted to use your own this guy, then I'm gonna make one that does not have holes, because that way you can still put it wherever you want. These are actually hollowed out just enough so that I can use, so that it'll fit with the Spirit stuff. So yeah, I'm kind of rambling, but yeah, so that's gonna be HGA 3. If you're using your own stuff, drill your own holes, HGA 3. So if you're following along, if you're using the same Spirit parts that I was, please follow this order of operations. It'll make things so much easier. So I did have to drill out these 2 holes with a 7/64 to get the screw through. I think that's because paint got in there, so I just cleared things out. I want the screw to get through pretty easily because I'm going to take pliers, balance the screw on it, try to feed it in from the back. And then once I have the screw, I'm going to put some thread locker on it. So, all right. Side note, some of the screws are longer than other screws, so make sure you're using a longer screw. Got the bolt, a nut, 2 washers, thread locker, a couple pairs of pliers, and I wanted to use Gorilla Glue, but I can't find it, so I'm using hot glue. Take the bolt with a washer on it. Take your glue, put a little bit on there. The glue is not to hold it on, the glue is just to stop it from spinning. And guide it in like that. Pull it through.
You're going to want to use the pliers to hold the screw down so that it doesn't slide up. Take your washer, slide that on. Then use the pliers to hold it again so you can screw the nut on.
And put a little bit of thread locker on here. Oh, there we go. And then I use my assortment of pliers to tighten it down like this. 1/4 turn at a time. All right, well that's how you attenuate some hydrogen gas. Although I don't... Actually, I'm gonna ask my editor real quick, what does attenuate mean?
Attenuate, to reduce the force, effect, or value of.
All right, setup down here today. My wife has a rule about not building proton packs on the kitchen table, which, I'm gonna be honest, comes up a lot more than you would think in our marriage. I'm looking around the pack at like, what can I do right now? I really don't have time for downtime. So I got these M5 screws. I'm gonna have to drill out the holes in the HGA, but they just screw right in and they're for looks. I like that nice metallic sticker. Now I'm just going to move on to the ion arm and the PPD. Now that the ion arm is attached, I have the PPD. Just slides down in here, and this attaches from behind. I'm sure I don't need to really go into this because you already took yours apart. All right, now we are up to the booster tube. So just to let you guys know, I made this. This is called, everything is black. This is called the modified booster tube, and then I have booster tube. So just to let you guys know, I went back and I redid booster back. That's the part that I put in here. The one thing I changed is I put a hole here. The reason being is it's gonna be really hard to get a screwdriver in here, but if there's a hole right here, you can just kind of get like a wrench or something, screw it in from behind. There's not gonna be anything in it, so it shouldn't be a problem. If you're using this one, you can use the one with the hole or not, it doesn't matter. You're not gonna need it or see it, but yeah. So let's get started on modified booster tube. There is no specific size that you need, but I will say grab the screws with the flattest head you can, because you're gonna want as much clearance as you can for the booster parts. And then just drill out whatever size fits your screws. I'm doing one washer on the back and then the nut. All right, here are all the parts to my booster core. This is just green spray paint, black spray paint, that metal spray paint I showed you guys. Let me flash a better picture of the screws and nuts I used. I got from Lowe's. First step is going to be to screw the circuit board onto booster part number 4. Here's how it looks assembled. I probably should have mentioned that on the side of the circuit board, I used that gold leaf rub and buff. I meant to say it earlier, I actually used all of that on the Clippard valves. Come here. Here and here. Super easy to do, especially when you have it taken off. It just adds a little bit more like realism, makes it look less plastic. For booster core part number 2, I'm gonna get this copper wire, this gold colored copper wire. I went with a 0.5 millimeter. I'm really just eyeballing it. I can't say for sure if that's the right one. So I'm gonna take a little bit of gaffer tape, just because it's what I have laying around. And tape it down. And then start wrapping. There might be a better way, but I don't know what it is. So you can see in this photo that the wire is very, I guess, like uniform, maybe you would call it. Like there's nothing crossing over. I don't have time for that. I don't. That could take another hour. I just don't have the time. So I'm kind of just making it sloppy. You do yours better. I might even come back and do mine a little bit better. I think I ended up using pretty much the whole roll. Well, yeah, the whole roll.
because I mean, I'm not really going to use this wire for anything else, so why not? So here's my spool, ready to go. Take parts 3 and parts 4, slide them onto this little knob on the bottom. Part 1, this is the top. Part 2. Then the beam. All right, and twist. So here we go, brand new booster core. I probably could have designed it all in one piece, but that would not have been nearly as fun. The HGA is holding up great. I'm having a blast doing this. Let's start moving down the pack, adding some more stuff. So now I'm actually going to attach two things at once. But first, let me back up. Do you remember a couple videos ago when I said if you're adding this bumper at the bottom to add it before you paint? I'm going to say the same thing about the Clippard. I had a little trouble. I had to sand it down to get it onto this little mount. So if you're going to do the Clippard, I say put it on before you paint, same as the bumper. So here's what I'm going to be using for this. I have the Clippard that I printed, the backing, the base .Phoebe that I printed up. I have these screws that are 4.6 millimeter diameter. I have E6000 glue, red ring terminals from Lowe's, and brass tape that I got from Amazon. I'm going to do my best to link as much of this stuff in the description as I can. Now, as far as the stickers, I don't remember where I got them. When I made my health and safety pack, I actually used real Clippard valves, and so these were left over. But I am going to get into stickers a bit later. My travel size, E6000, these are perfect for taking to conventions. Just a little, nothing crazy. And then the same thing for the Clippard base. So give that about half an hour to dry. I'll let you guys know a little bit more about the Clippard base. So if you're doing the Phoebe one, this is what you're going to need. It's 18 gauge. I used black and brown. I have not found a perfect, comprehensive 100% diagram, but I did get on Facebook that How to Build a Proton Pack group, and I asked some people if they had pictures, and I got a couple different reference photos, and I put them together, and here's how I did it, and I want to make it as easy as I can for you. So in this picture, the black wires are black, and everything else is brown. I just use different colors so you can, tell which one is which. These are 22 gauge ring terminals that I got at Lowe's. They're really easy to use. I always just look for the red ones. They seem to be the right size, and let me show you how to do it real quick. If you're making the Phoebe pack, you'll need 19, and it comes in a pack of 20, so you get one mess up. All right, so just cut off the lower part. There's nothing inside of it. And hold it like this. There's a split in the front. You'll see what I mean when you get it. Take a pair of snips and right down the center. This removes the red jacket and it opens up the clamp. Come on, where are you? Take the brown wire, slide it in. And then just clamp it closed. A little bit of brass tape and wrap it around. All right, so let's finish up the Clippard valve.
Look at that, natural weathering. Perfect. Now I just got to finish up adding these little wires. One more thing, part of the Phoebe Clippard valve means you have to drill 2 holes around it. There's one above and one below. You'll be able to see where they are in the diagram a lot better. I'm on the last one. That took about an hour to do, so cool. So I take this brown wire, run it under this. Now I am using clamps on my pack. They're not the right clamps, so I'm not going to tell you what they are. I will figure them out, but not until after I get back from Ghostbusters Day in New York City. And I wanted to show you how I did the last one, because the ones on top on the booster tube are a little bit different. These wire terminals are 20 gauge, the wires are 20, so you can fit them in there, it's not a problem, but when it comes to fitting 2 into 1, I strip the wires. Oops. And twist them together. Come here. And that makes it work for 2. I probably should have also mentioned that these are M3 screws. This is what I use for pretty much everything I make, except for some of the bigger ones on the HGA, but we'll get into that in a minute. So I recommend this, just having this around. I'll link it again, and this is just awesome to have. All right, here we go. The Clippard valve wires are connected to the booster tube. They're in the holes, all of that stuff, and we're moving along nicely. So the brown wire that I used on my health and safety pack, and then I used on this. This is how much I have left. Seriously. Thank you, Gozer. Wow. I might actually get this done. Let's get moving. So I think this is the part everyone's been looking forward to. First, I'm going to put the light clips in, and then I'm going to put these bronze coolers in. This is the picture I'm using as a reference photo. This is what I based the inside switchboard on, at least. And so this is what I'm going to use for my clip lights. And I'm just going to slide them in, because I already know they fit. So I've got these all in there, looking good. If I can kind of do... Whoop, there we go. Next is going to be the cooling towers. I put holes in the back of these, and then I put holes in here in the cooler, so you should be able to just screw them right in. I got one. So the first thing I did was clear out the holes with a 7/64 in the cooler and in the towers. Then I put a little E6000 on the bottom of the tower. Put the screws in, then I just line it up and screw them down. So here's how you do the first one, the first hole. Take the drill bit, put it through, then line it up with the hole in the cooling tower, and then just push it down. Take the M3, oh geez, and it's already lined up. Then for the rest of the holes, you just got to swing it around until you'll get it. There we go. It's starting to look good now. This is the part I've really been looking forward to. I've got my cooler set up. I've got everything painted. I've got the coolers. I've got the lights in here. I'm about to do the switches, and all I have. Oh, geez, what am I thinking? I got my professional weights to glue it down. So all I need to do now. There we go. Cool. It doesn't fit. Now I'm playing. Oh. Yes. Oh, I'm so happy. So much work went into this. This is amazing. All right. What I'm just now noticing what I should have done is put the glue on the back of the cooler lip, not on the pack, because I've got glue in there. Not a big deal. I'm going to clean it out with a wet wipe. Ugh, it's actually starting to cure already. Just an idea for when you're making yours. So you have one little mistake that I made that you don't have to. So now I'm just taking the DC motor, feeding it through the cooler. Screw it down. Skip a step. These two switches, they just screw right in. Where are you? Here. I don't have a use for them quite yet, but they'll be really easy to get to when I do decide to hook something up to them. All right, so I've got the cooler in, it's dry, I've got everything secure on here pretty well. I'm gonna wait to do the cake for last because it's gonna be the most delicate thing, and when I'm flipping this thing around, drilling blocks of wood into it and all that stuff, I don't wanna have this banging around, things getting in there, messing it up. I'm just gonna do it last. So next, I'm gonna do the ribbon cable. Really cool story about this ribbon cable. There's a guy on Etsy called Wire Fauna. Look him up, find him, send him a message, say, hey, I wanna get the GB1 ribbon cable. And he'll say, yeah, no problem, I'll let you know. And then after he has a batch made up, he sends you a message and says, this time at this date, be ready. So you set your alarm, you get on there, and you order it as soon as you can. And this is the second one I've ordered. Actually, I keep talking about my health and safety pack. Let me show you real quick. Yeah, so this is the first one I ordered. I ordered specifically the health and safety pack version because he sends you extra wires to fit into the terminal here. Apparently there's a bunch of people out there that have never even heard of Wire Fauna. This was $35. It's an amazing cable. I'll probably end up ordering more. I just printed these up. These are ribbon clamps. I don't even know what folder I'm gonna put them in. I'll put it down here, I guess, whenever I figure out what it is. But anyway, so I made them to be the exact same size as this one. The holes line up and everything. So to cut a ribbon cable, take it. Now I'm just going to cut these little nubs off. And then drill right where they were. You'll need to drill your holes out in the ribbon clamps too. I left them small just to accommodate whatever size hardware you're using. I just realized that the ribbon clamps on the Spirit Pack are a lot bigger than the other ones, because when you do the other ones, the holes go through the ribbon. But this fits right in the center, which means it's not actually really holding it in other than the pressure you put on the screws. And since this is 3D printed and not actually metal, I'm going to use a little bit of E6000 to hold it together. So you're going to want one ribbon clamp up, E6000, ribbon with the white side to the top-ish part, another E6000, the top clamp, then screw it all together. And then the bolts just go right on the back. I waited to do the little ladder on the booster tube because I wanted to do the ribbon clamp at the same time, which means I wanted to do the ribbon at the same time, which means I needed to do the yellow wire loom at the same time. Now, before I start, I got to give a huge shout out to a good friend of mine, Brad. Runs a channel called Ghost One More Mod. He has a video all about why you want this particular yellow wire loom from Charlesworth Dynamic. Go watch his video. I'm going to link it down there. He does use a HasLab pack, but everything he says is solid. He explains like how there's a little bit of space in here. We'll get to it. We'll get to it. But let me put the wires in and we'll get started. Got my 6 colors. Electrical tape them at one end. And now just... Can I just push them? Does that work? Okay. Done. Now just slide it on here. When you buy this ribbon from Wire Fauna, he sends you a how-to, and in it he recommends using a hairdryer to kind of mold the, what is it, vinyl or something as you twist it. So that's what I'm gonna do, and then I'm gonna slide this yellow wire loom into the same hole as the cable. There we go. So we've got the ribbon cable, all of the brown wires from the Clippard, and then we've got the wire loom that we just shoved through. Just make sure everything's tight. Everything is more or less where I want it. Take this, take the ladder. Okay. All right, it's starting to look like a real proton pack now. At the end of this yellow wire loom is a wire strain relief. That's what they used at the end of the injector tubes. There's one on the PPD. I'm not making it completely movie accurate. I'm actually using the smaller split loom like they did in the original Ghostbusters, just because I don't feel like spending the money. If you want to make yours as accurate as possible, I'm going to leave a link to what wire strains they use. For this, all I'm going to need is the base of one of them. You want to leave about 3/4 of an inch at the bottom, so we're going to stick the wire strain through. Use another zip tie and just slide it on. Cut out the excess wires. There we go. All right, wire loom and cable are finished. Like I said, I learned all this from a channel called Ghost One More Mod. I'm gonna link the video where he explains how this works. I'm also gonna link another video called Ecto at Night. Brad made this video, it's incredible. If you're even a tiny bit of a Ghostbusters fan, this video is gonna knock your socks off. All right, so I wanted to avoid having things hanging off for as long as possible, but since I have this hanging off now, I'm also gonna attach this straight Legree that goes down in here. This also went to the cyclotron, but now it doesn't, it just kind of hangs. So I'm just gonna put it on now. It's a bit tricky with everything in the way. Might have been easier to just attach it when I attached the other one. So I'm gonna put the V-hook back on, and if you remember, I had that going into a block of wood. And then I also had this strap attached to the block of wood. I probably said this earlier, but these are from the Q pack. The V-hook files, I mean, are from the Q pack. So I take no credit for them. Cool. Now it's stronger and I have something to attach this strap to. If you see on the V-hook, there are 4 holes. You don't have to use them. I just wanted to put some M3 screws in there because I think it looks cool. They're also going into the wood. Not that you really need it. The 2 wood screws are enough, but I'm gonna do it because I think it looks cool. Okay. I think that looks pretty cool. So now I have this block of wood holding on the V-hook. It's also holding on this strap. But on this side, when I removed the booster tube, I got rid of the plastic piece that was holding on the other strap. So I'm gonna take another piece of wood and I'm gonna put it right here. because I have that fake screw to make it look like I have a motherboard on the back. So I'm just going to put some wood in here. So I have one more strap to put in. I will be switching out this little thumbtack of a screw for a nice little wood screw. So before I can finally close up this bad boy, there's one more thing I have to do, and that is the crank knob. This is from the Q-Pack files. There's no reason for me to even try to change it because it's perfect the way it is. Just Google GitHub Proton Pack and you'll find Mr. Q, and you should be able to find crank knob in the search bar. I'm not leaving a link, I'm not claiming that I made this, anything like that is 100% Mr. Q, and I'm taking it. So, if you remember when I put this in, there was a big hole from where we had to take out the original fake crank knob. So then I put the board behind it, and you're probably thinking, oh no, it's perfectly smooth, where is center? Just kidding. There's a hole that I put in the back of it, so you just drill right through that. This knob is actually the perfect size for an M3, so I'm going to go with a 1/8 through the pack, so it's slightly bigger, and then just screw it on. I'm using a 20mm M3. I'm putting washers on both sides of the pack, and I'm not going too tight because I want it to be able to spin, even though it's connected to nothing. It's just a little more realism. Doesn't do anything, but looks cool, right? Ready to close her up. The HGA I made fits in here, and this board doesn't, so I gotta cut this now. So this also means I'm going to have to relocate this strap hole. So I think I'm just going to move it down a little bit. Probably do the other one too. Alright, so you guys have seen me use my rotary saw enough times, you don't need to watch that. Here I cut this out for the HGA, I made new strap holes and just cut them out with an X-Acto knife. The only failure is giving up. Alright, so thank you so much for sticking around, watching the assembly video. I'm kidding, there's still one more part. It's the best part, let's do it. So I'm finally up to the part that everyone's been waiting for, the cyclotron. I've got all the parts lined up, let's get into it. The first thing I'm going to do is put a little super glue in here, and then I'm going to put the collar in to hold it in place. And then it says to hold it 10 to 45 seconds. This is the one I'm using just because it says it dries in 10 seconds and it's heavy duty, so hopefully it holds up. After you hold it for about 45 seconds, I'm going to take a little safety pin and just clean it out, make sure that there's no glue on the inside. I'm also going to come in from the side where the set screw goes in, make sure that that's clear as well. Now I'm going to take some green thread locker. Green says it's best for vibration, so I figure that's probably what I'm going to need. Put a little in that little side of the collar. And take this tiniest little collar screw. Once I get the screw started, I'm just going to place it right on top of the DC motor pin. Slide it on. And I'm just going to tighten the pin as much as I can get it in. I'm just going to put the top on and go around and tighten the screws. Alright, so that's how in a few simple steps you too can go from a normal out-of-the-box Spirit pack to a brass-plated Phoebe pack. So thank you so much for sticking around. I know it's been a lot of videos. I think we're up to 6. I still have another video on weathering. Definitely not done. Definitely more stuff to do. So seriously, thank you so much for coming around the containment unit. I can't thank you enough. So let's just fire up. I mean, that's what you're here for, right?